Welcome back to Remembering Smallville, a Smallville rewatch podcast.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Kim.
And I'm Brett.
Season 1, Episode 3.
This episode is about a coach, a football coach. When Coach Walt Arnold's football legacy is threatened by a cheating scandal, the coach entices Clark onto the team. Meteor rocks in the coach's sauna infects him with the ability to generate fire, and his enemies start getting burned.
And we're back.
Oh, I was going to do an ad.
Oh, you have an ad?
Of course.
Go for it.
Hey, Smallville Town. Coach Walt's about to win his 200th game. Join us at the game on Friday night. New starter, Clark Kent. Tailback, the Crows.
Can you please clip that? The Crows.
Yeah.
Which, just for all of your awareness, fullbacks are pretty rare in today's football game. They don't really use them anymore. So now a tailback is just the running back. If you hear about a running back, they're a tailback.
On this episode, we get introduced to the Talon.
No, we don't.
What?
Not at all. Don't
No.
You dare say that.
That is not the talent. This is just the coffee.
That's
This
a
is the
random
coffee
coffee
house?
shop.
They're
It
not the
actually-
same thing.
No.
They're it blends together so much in my head.
I thought the same thing. It is not the talent, so don't ever say it again.
Okay.
Wait,
Kim is
what?
confused.
See, exactly.
But
No,
here's
but that's the paper, and they talk
The
about
torch.
it.
the
In
torch.
The torch. Anyway, we get a football episode. Woot woot!
There's only a couple of these. Nicole loves them.
I hate it.
Yeah, Nicole was the only one at the Super Bowl party cross-stitching.
I was crocheting, to be clear.
How dare you
She
get it
watched
wrong.
0 minutes of the Super Bowl.
Listen,
Zero.
True.
there are a couple episodes in the future. One of the football episodes is one of my favorite episodes of all time.
I agree. Is that in season 4?
Yes.
Hmm.
You know which episode I'm talking about? It's amazing.
I
It
can't
is
one of my
wait.
favorites.
Oh, yeah. There's a part in there that just, it'll make your heart palpitate. If you have heart problems, you might want to check yourself before that episode.
Anyway, not to jump too far ahead, but football
Wow.
episodes don't have to be terrible. That's the key point.
That's true. But this one is, it's
I only
okay.
like football if Ludacris is singing at halftime.
Oh, gosh. So this episode starts with a very rainy football game.
Mm.
The rainiest.
The rainiest.
I
And-
actually think it looks really good.
Oh, it looks great.
Sure. But playing in it, insanity.
Again, this is not my analysis of football. I'm not going to get into it too much, but there's some things that make me cringe. This quarterback's drop back makes every man cry.
Yeah.
Also, the coach is not running onto the field in between plays to yell at his quarterback. Not going to happen.
Also, you can just tell that they're actors and not actual football players.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe in the Ville of Small, this does happen.
In the Ville of Small. Okay, we have a new name for our podcast. It's called The Ville of
Small.
In the Ville of Small.
I don't.
Tell your friends about it, please.
So we actually get Whitney before we get any other major character of the episode.
That's
Whitney's
true.
getting yelled at by his coach, and he's like, just do it. We've run the play. You don't need to see where you're throwing. Just throw it, and the guy will catch it.
Which is funny because if he can't see where he's throwing, how's the guy supposed to see where it's
Where to
coming
catch.
when it gets thrown? You know, I mean, I see the whole like muscle memory type of thing,
He
but
knows his route.
that only exists if the defender doesn't like mess with him too much before he gets on his route.
All right.
This is a
There's-
Superman show,
I don't know.
people.
I don't even know what words you're saying anymore.
Listen,
Sorry, we
he
just
runs a
nerded
clean
out.
route. They're trusting the receiver to run his route. That's all we're saying.
Throw ball. Do catch points.
And then 2 feet before it comes into view, he's like, yes, I can.
Right. Well, at least they don't have the trope where like the clock is running out, and you know what I mean.
They do that in this show, just not in this episode.
Right.
Where so here's the deal for any of our listeners that are not football aware. The time can run out and the play will still happen. Okay?
What?
Not
My
basketball.
life is a lie.
Yes, it's not like basketball where at the buzzer it's over, even if the person's still running with the football. No,
It's just funny when they do that anyway, and they pretend like that's a big deal.
like it's dramatic.
Yeah, they won. They all come into the locker room and they're all muddy and they're all talking about the next one. And
this is when
wahoo.
we find out a key plot point. Next football game is the coach's 200th win.
Potentially.
Let's do the math. I don't care. Never mind. I was going to do math on how many games do they play a season.
Around 10, and then, you know.
10 a season. That's it?
Right.
They played 10 games.
Around 10 every season.
And he coached.
He's coached for 25 years.
Yeah.
To 25 years.
That means that
a
he's
pretty
won.
winning coach.
He's
A
won
lot.
most of his games. Yeah, so he's a really, really.
I don't know why
winning
I
coach.
asked. I don't care. Never mind. He's in a sauna now.
I mean, that's important though, because like he's got all this prestige and stuff. He has his own personal sauna, probably because he's a
Donated
winning
from
coach.
boosters.
In the locker room.
Yeah.
That's
a
true.
coach sauna in the locker room.
Little weird.
Let's all vote. Hot sauna, dry sauna. Where do you stand?
You mean
Wet. What did I say?
I like wet better.
you would?
I like being wet better.
I like a dry sauna.
Do you?
Uh-huh.
A lot of people do.
Nicole likes her sauna dry like a 50-year-old uterus.
I want my lungs to
With
start
cobwebs.
crackling with like the hot air. Like I don't want to be breathing in like moisture.
You want your lungs to react like Superman's veins do in Kryptonite.
You know that I don't know if you've ever seen that episode of SpongeBob when he's like, I don't need water. That's how I want my
don't
lungs
need
to
it.
feel.
I
in
don't
a
need it.
hot, dry sauna. That's what I want in life.
Okay, moving on.
So he's soaking in some heckin' green smoke from the kryptonite
he's
rocks.
using meteor rocks as his sauna rocks.
And I think we're all going to assume that only the viewer can see the green steam.
Yeah, that's a movie magic thing, not necessarily what he would see. Maybe.
He's sitting in the corner closing his eyes. He's
That's
relaxed.
true.
He has
He
no
doesn't.
interest.
He doesn't care.
Well, and of course, you probably don't pay attention to that very much. You just pour your thing and you.
I'm
go sit
sorry
down.
if
I
green
would
smoke was in my
notice.
sauna. Yeah.
Well, are you a 200 winning football coach? I don't think
no,
so.
that's probably why.
I mean, no, he's not a very good person because, here comes ruining his alone time, Principal Kwan.
to tell him that he's got players that are cheating. Cheaters. If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
It's true. That's how I got through school.
Cheaters never prosper, but they often win.
Unless they do, and they become politicians.
So
Or win
yeah.
200 games.
So Principal Kwan breaks the news. You've got some cheaters. They're not going to be allowed to play. And coach, of course, says, let's just deal with it later. I got a game to win. And I like that the principal's like, no, it's happening on Monday.
And then coach is like, "You've only been here for like 6 months. Shut up." And the principal's like, "I'm here to keep rules."
So then he loses his temper and he hits a towel on
the
his
table.
desk and it starts a fire.
And
A
he's
desk
like
fire.
shocked. So
Yeah, he's not planning
first
this.
time.
Yeah. There's a first time for everything.
It kind of made me giggle that he smacks the towel, and that's what starts the fire. It's just
He
kind
doesn't
of
punch the
The
desk.
wet towel.
yeah.
Just towel.
It seems like he can turn water to fire.
Yeah, it seems.
Oh, yeah.
It seems to be a theme.
Imagine the science behind turning water directly to fire.
He
Holy
was in a
crap.
hot sauna.
That's true.
There's only one reason. He's a demon.
Oh,
He kind of
that
is.
makes sense. That
Well,
tracks.
that's the thing is most of the time it seems like the kryptonite that creates the bad villain of the day corrupts them or whatever. But this guy's already an evil sod.
Pretty naughty.
Yeah,
And
he just gets
it
a
just
superpower.
accentuates it, right?
Chloe in green again.
Yes, what?
Yes.
I'm going to follow this.
Yeah, we need to count how many times Chloe
and her
wears green.
leopard
Yeah.
print bag.
I know. She has a very boho
She
style.
is.
But we're now
Very-
getting a real introduction into the torch, which is
No, not quite. What we do know, she published a paper with the cheating being
right.
exposed.
Well, it
She's
says
published
torch.
it.
It says torch on the headline.
does.
So we get exposed to the school newspaper, which is the torch, and that's Chloe's. That's her happy place.
And Chloe's getting hate mail, and she's like, "I love the attention."
She's a true journalist. She's willing to go in and get the story and go deep, even if it hurts feelings, which I really appreciate.
and we know that Whitney did not cheat.
Yeah, Lana is not happy about this. As one of the leads of our show, we have to point out she is not happy about this cheating scandal. And she gets into it a little bit later, but she really has a moral dilemma, not just being disappointed in them, but it's what she does with her time.
Yeah, like who does she associate herself with?
It shows that she has good character. She's not just a ditzy girl or something, which they could have done that trope.
So now the team doesn't have enough players because they have been expelled from playing at least.
And Chloe is taking pictures of the team talking, right?
Uh-huh.
Lana's mad at Whitney.
She's getting some hot goss.
Yeah, but here's my thing, okay? There's a guy that turns around and sees Chloe taking a picture with her retro camera.
Amazing.
This guy looks like he's 45. Have you noticed? He has like a gut. You play for the team? Are you sure? You're not a dad?
Listen, it's a whole new definition of super senior. They have years of eligibility left, okay?
And of course, Clark catches the ball and throws it back.
Yeah, he does look
but
pretty
he
old.
looks old, man.
But that is a good plot point. Clark just catching the ball, no problem, and
Yeah.
then he throws it back, and the
And,
coach is like,
So intense.
Yeah. And the coach is like, I have all these players that can't play, so...
Solution.
there's a boy who can catch
throw the
and throw a ball.
but I've got a quarterback. That's one of the players I do have.
And then speaking of weird people, this dude standing by the
Oh my
standing
gosh.
by the vending
Pause
machine.
the
He
episode.
cannot figure out how his body is bent that
Shaped.
way.
Pause the episode at 7 minutes and 19 seconds and just take a look at the guy against the vending machine and how does he do that?
Stuffed his shirt with vending machine trees for the next period. That's the only explanation.
I didn't know the human body could make that shape.
It's just like it's so rigid, right?
Yeah.
Like he's in like baggy clothes. He's got a baggy jersey on.
It looks like
and
he
really
has a
baggy
pillow.
pants. I
But it's more
know.
than that. He is somehow managing to flirt with a girl at the same time.
And she's all for it. She's like, give me some of your treats. Next period.
She's like, I'll take you to the movies with me. You can stack all the treats in there you want.
When you walk, you crinkle.
we actually like went back and discussed this while we were watching it
I think
together.
we rewound it.
It was so funny.
Rewound it 3 or 4 times.
It was just so ridiculous.
It blew our minds.
Yeah.
And it totally distracted us. I forgot what they were even talking about up to that point. But then, coach comes up and he's like, oh, you could throw a football. You should be on my team.
Which
Yep.
again, this is the misunderstanding of football. He has a quarterback that throws the ball. That's fine.
Because he does say football must be in your genes because your dad was so gifted.
Yeah.
And then he ends up putting Clark in his dad's old position.
And he says, but I'm adopted.
I love
Right,
that.
I do
That's
love
my favorite. He goes, actually, after you say, oh, it runs in your blood, he says, actually, I'm adopted.
Loved it.
Fantastic.
But I do
response.
love that he puts him in his dad's old spot. That's so cute.
The coach has 3 redeeming qualities, and they're very small.
And please, what are they?
Great hairline.
Yeah.
Oh.
He has led Smallville to a lot of wins. He is giving Clark a chance at his dream that he's always wanted.
You didn't know that was his dream, though.
Yeah, but it is a redeeming thing about him. Like, he notices what he thinks to be raw talent, and he's offering it up to a kid. Yeah, he's in a desperate situation, but still, he's giving a kid a chance that never tried out. He doesn't know, right?
Yeah.
What's that, 2? I don't know if I can find a third.
I have a
I
third.
hate that he's like insults Pete to Pete's face.
I
He's like,
know.
Yeah, that
this
totally
kid has
undoes
no
all.
talent, but he's on the team.
Okay, so his third redeeming quality is that he has dealt with these pubescent turds for 25 years.
Oh,
True.
it's
Yep,
true.
There you go.
So I would
No
probably
wonder
have
he's evil.
firepower and a temper too.
Yeah,
This is very true.
you're dealing with football players who are teenagers for 25 years.
Oh, that's something
and now you're
special right
teaching.
there.
You're also dealing with now their children.
Oh. And the main thing the coach says that is his thing, because it's well known, is be your own man. It's the be your own man speech. Jonathan's heard it. They've
Well,
all heard it.
He's telling Clark everything Clark wants to hear.
And Clark says, no, 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 until Lana shows up.
Yep. That
And
testosterone
then
kicks
he's ready to
in.
go. And to be honest, this is what every teenager gets into. Every
Yep.
teenager wants to be an adult. They don't want to be a child anymore. It's where all over
very
at.
loud.
As a parent, I can tell you, my teenager, she's already believes that she's not a child anymore.
Yeah.
It just
It doesn't help that she's tall, too.
Oh my gosh, I know. That she looks down on me. Rude.
Rude. That's what you get for
So-
mating with a tall
So
man.
Clark just decides, oh, I'll play football because Lana will be there and I want to.
that
And I'm going to be my own man.
this will do it.
So he's in.
Yeah, he's trying to appear impressive to her.
Then Pete calls him out and he goes, "Well, good luck, friend."
Because
I know
what did your dad say
say?
the last time? He said no. He said no.
So let me know when the pain stops.
I like that he is becoming slowly a bigger character.
Oh,
I think I'm going to
will.
really like him.
Yeah, you will. And Pete's the king of, you'll notice. So keep this on your radar. He says, well, you're a regular. That's his thing. He says it all the time. You're a regular Dr. Doolittle. You're a regular Cat in the Hat. Like, it doesn't matter what he says, but it's always a regular something. You'll see.
So then Clark goes home, has to have a little chitty chat with his dad about this. And his dad basically tells him, we've already talked about this in episode 1. So we're back 2 episodes later having this conversation.
I think Jonathan is a good dad.
Oh, I agree.
You might be able to argue that throughout the show, he might be a bit too cautious. But he really, truly he loves Clark so much. He doesn't want Clark to get taken away and experimented on. Mm-hmm. And he knows that if Clark slips up too much, that'll happen. Yeah. And Clark sometimes, as the teenager, doesn't have the foresight to be able to see that. He sees what's right in front of him. He's like, well, I can be careful this time, but not every time. And so that's where Jonathan's coming from. I honestly kind of wish they would have said something about how, like, it's just plain unfair. It's like throwing a 300-pound giant man into a little girl's Little League flag football game, and he's the only one allowed to tackle. They're all going to be toddlers in his hands. That's not fair. And even if he does pull back, you kind of get that same thing in Incredibles with Dash, come on. The other kids don't have superpowers, so like it's just too easy for you. Yeah. And they make him go for second, and I kind of like that. That's kind of how Jonathan's trying to teach him the same lesson. Like, don't just use your superpowers to get yourself ahead. Use them to actually help people. So he's just being a good dad. And it's probably hard to get that to come across to a kid.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
and he's scared.
He says,
for his son.
You're more than football.
Yeah.
That's not what it's for.
And I love this quote, and I wrote it down, is I don't need to live vicariously through you.
Yes.
There are a lot of parents in the world that I'm sure, our listeners, I'm sure you just thought of at least one person that is trying to live vicariously through their kid. Maybe it's a sporting event, maybe it's
dance,
maybe whatever it might be. I'm sure you've thought of one. But this is where we all need to get to. Like, it's their life, their experiences. Live your life, have your experiences. But yeah, I love that he called that out. Yeah, I don't need to live vicariously through you.
Just, again, makes Jonathan so much better.
He's just so solid. Clark knew what he was going to say. He said what he knew he was going to say. And he just was like, this is the answer. Sorry.
Don't want to jump too far ahead, but I love the fact that he went, all right, you just told me off, son. You just told me that you're going to do it anyway. And I'm coming not to support you, but I'm going to come and watch to make sure other people aren't hurt.
Yeah.
And that's your decision. But I'm here for everybody else. And it just lays it on like, I understand, and you can make that decision, but it's your decision. Yeah. And I think that's a pretty solid way there. That was pretty great for me.
I love this scene with Lex, just how he rolls over all of these businessmen that are probably so much more experienced than him. They're way older. They've been in the business far longer, and they're putty in his hands. He gets them to believe all the things he wants so that it'll get under Lionel's skin, which is basically half of what he's doing.
Well, because he said, I canceled this meeting. And they're like, well, your father sent us to have the meeting.
And again, I think the first half is to get under his father's skin. I think the second half is he doesn't want to do what his father wants him to do by firing a bunch of workers. I think he genuinely cares about workers and wants to do good in Smallville. And so...
Well, he was told, go run this branch. And he's like, telling me to do this is not me running it. I'm going to run it. I'm going to make it profitable. Yeah,
so he wants to prove himself. He wants to get under his dad's skin, but I also think he genuinely cares for his employees, and he wants to prove himself to the people of Smallville because he's trying to be good. Again, like that's kind of his thing.
But yet Lionel's a liar, and he doesn't trust his son with this company, so of course he's going to come in and
send the
mess everything up.
So, Kim, as a business owner, I'm sure you get all sorts of people telling you how you should run your business, right? You get everyone telling you what you should do, how you should do.
Yeah.
How do you take that and still do your own thing?
I learn so much from other people and my clients. And so I always like to take what they say, and then if I can use it, awesome. But if I don't think it's necessary, then I won't use it.
Just love to take all the feedback and then be able to make your own choice.
Yeah,
love
exactly.
That.
And I think that's kind of what Lex is doing.
I will note, not about the business, because I don't know about business. He's wearing a towel on his neck again. And it has fencing stuff embroidered on it?
He lives in a castle.
Yeah.
In Kansas.
If you're going to wipe your sweat, it better be a fencing towel.
But you know what's really cool? There are actually like lightsaber choreography competitions that started as lightsaber fencing competitions,
What?
where people actually go in and they choreograph a lightsaber fight. And then they do the CGI to make the lightsabers look and sound real. And then they submit them and then they can win. Go on YouTube and look up lightsaber choreography competitions. They look better than anything that we've gotten out of Star Wars since like 2006.
So why don't they hire them to do all their fighting?
We probably shouldn't go too deeply into the terrible business practices of Disney, even though we are talking about terrible business practices.
With Lex
Disney's decision making, especially around Star Wars, has been abysmal.
Daniel has a lot of thoughts about this.
So we shouldn't get into it. I think that's a
Because we're
rabbit hole.
already doing a nerdy podcast. And if
It's
we go
true.
that nerdy, I don't know what will happen to us. The DNA might change.
I do just love just how Lex's personality is excellent. It's deep. You
He's
can't
spicy.
just narrow it down to one thing. There's so
He's
much
funny.
layers.
He's so complex.
And there's a
Uh-huh.
presence. When Lex walks into any scene, there's a change.
Oh my gosh.
And you
yes.
like you can feel it. It's not just the way that they do it with the cinematography. He comes into
he
a scene,
commands it.
right? You could have Clark and Chloe and Pete, and if Lex walks in, the dynamic changes immediately.
Totally.
Here's a good part where we get to see Lana's complexity. Because before she kind of seems just...
It's
Pretty
a
one
two-dimensional
note.
character.
Yeah.
And this starts giving her dimensions. She's more than just like a pretty girl who's nice.
Because before, so we've had Homecoming Queen,
Cheerleader.
Cocoon Lady, and now ex-cheerleader because she quits cheerleading.
And why does she quit cheerleading?
Because she saw the bad practices going on around a team that she was supposed to be supporting and representing.
Who were
she,
cheating.
And she doesn't want to be a part of that. She wants to be her own person that isn't supporting something she doesn't believe in, which I really respect.
Yeah, she wants to find something that she finds joy in.
And Nell, of course, is like, no, but it's so good. You should keep doing it.
I think we need to do a bad lip reading where Nicole...
Just dubbed over all Nelson.
I'm very
Yes.
biased against her, and I wasn't before this rewatch.
That's
Yeah, I
because
never
you
even-
never flirt with a married man.
And I'm just now against her.
I've never noticed Nell before. She was never like a character I
No.
thought about. I was like, oh yeah, that's Lana's aunt.
Nell. If you don't
And
like her,
I'm
Nell.
anti-Nell.
Okay, can I complain? This made me so mad.
Are we on a new scene?
He is finally in his uniform. Clark is in a football uniform, and Lana's not even there. She quit cheerleading. Ugh.
Yep.
Ugh.
And
That's why we
Clark
don't
is
make
unhappy
decisions
too.
for other people, babe. That's why we don't make those decisions
And
for
his
other people.
dad is raining down on the party with his frowny face, like, I'm here, blah, 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 blah.
It's rough.
I
Yeah.
support you, but I don't support you.
Okay, but here's the deal. Jonathan was right, and he proves it right here in
Oh,
the
I
show.
know. Because he said, "Well, I'll just be normal."
I'll be able to be tackled. He gets tackled once. The coach tells him to man up. And the
Don't
next
listen to
play,
your father.
And he Superman's up.
He Superman's just does a lovely little leap over the top.
It's just a little too much. And that's the mistake that Jonathan was waiting for him to make, really.
Okay, I never noticed behind the dad, there's like a mom in like a pink shirt and pink sunglasses. Totally early 2000s. I love it. Watching her son.
Well, it's just funny seeing these jerseys. They're all like very much mesh.
Old school.
Yeah, that's
Those
These
practice
are practice
jerseys.
man.
Yeah, no, they're just a lot of fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
So he scores a touchdown. He leaps over everyone, takes a guy
He
out.
like bicycle leaps over them.
yeah.
Like I could believe that Tom Welling actually played football.
Mm-hmm.
The way he does things, and then there's more stuff throughout the show. Either they got someone better at like teaching him how to move and act, or just Tom Welling actually like kind of has the build and the belief that he probably could have done sports
Oh,
and stuff. He's not
We'll
just
have to look into that.
yeah. Be interesting to find out.
Mm-hmm.
So Jonathan leaves after Clark
Oh yeah, he walks
goes
right
extra. He just bails.
He's like, I've proved my point. And then we get to see just how freaking evil the coach is. He's just the worst. He's like showing you and outright saying like, yeah, I can be as corrupt as I want. and the board's going to do nothing.
Well, the principal shows up and he says, well, a student came forward and said that you gave them the test.
Yeah.
Like, you gave them the answers.
Bum,
So,
bum, bum.
and he's like, no
coach
one's going to
provided the
believe you
cheating.
because I know the board. I coached them all.
And you can just see the coach's aggression building throughout this whole
Oh, and he's
episode.
being smug right here.
He hits the table, flames. Now he hits the remote and the TV goes up in flames. And he like,
But
you can
no
see,
water.
you can see he's like, huh, not scared now. He's curious. So Principal Kwan goes out to his car and suddenly the coach
Has control.
really enhances his abilities.
I mean, he's really concentrating and he's almost like wishing for it. And then
It happens.
when he sees it, he's pleasantly surprised because he's a freaking evil sod. He's like,
Ooh, he smiles when the car's
Yeah.
burning up.
and thank goodness for good old Pete and Clark.
They have just finished, their hair's wet. They just finished showering after practice, even though it's 9:30 at night. It's so dark outside.
They've,
And
They're the
they
only two
lights.
that are finishing.
Yeah, and they see the car, and the principal drives a beater.
So my favorite, right, is the school. It's supposedly empty because it's nighttime.
But there's so many cars in the lot.
Yeah, and then Clark tells Pete to go back for help. Well, it's that late at night. I really don't know if there's anyone there, but apparently there's a lot of people there.
Luckily, Pete listens to him because otherwise Clark would have had a hard time saving the guy without
Yeah.
Pete
It's
noticing.
a good thing that people just like run away from Clark so we can do heroic stuff.
Which is this is my favorite. The unnecessary door throw. He punches the window, so now he can
For no
He
reason.
could reach the principal, pull him out, but no. He goes, now that I punched the window, let me just rip the whole door off.
Or just only rip the door off.
Right.
I mean, maybe you can just say, well, this is just him being a dumb 14-year-old
Yeah.
kid.
Because he could have just ripped the door open
Punching in a window.
Where does that glass go?
onto someone.
Onto someone.
Yeah, there's like all the things here. I'm like, a lot of unnecessary, but it makes the effects, brings us
Well, yeah,
Superman
and there,
home
we
here.
get some pretty decent practical effects here, too.
Yeah.
With the fire stuff, and we blow up another car.
This is 3 for 3,
Listen,
everyone.
hey.
3 episodes, 3 total car explosions.
I'm not trying to call out anyone, okay?
I think Michael
I know
Bay is jealous of all the cars being destroyed right now.
that I'm not calling out anyone. I'm just saying that it was really easy to find beater cars and say it was a teacher's car.
It is that car. Well, if you look at this scene, like when he's fixing the car, there are some other cars in the lot. They are all so old. It's 2001.
They probably couldn't afford to
Are
have
all
a
those
bunch
cars
of
from like
disposable cars
1986?
from.
They're so old.
Oh, they had to have
Yeah.
beaters if they're going to actually
Look
do
at
an
that
explosion.
Station wagon.
They want to
I
make
know.
sure that any damage is not going to be a problem and not going to be a cost.
Ain't that the truth?
So look at these cars. Yeah, you want that whole car to explode? Look at this.
I don't know why he's unconscious so quickly.
The best part, though, I think, of this episode is what happens next, where we're back at the Kents and we get that conversation between Martha and Jonathan.
Oh, it's amazing. It's
Some of
so
the
good.
best writing, just really, really good. They feel genuine with each other, but the things they say, too. Oh,
Yeah.
So we learn Principal Kwan isn't gonna die. He just
right.
breathed in some smoke, has some baby burns, and he'll be fine. And Clark's like, Dad, be proud of me. I saved someone. But ultimately, Jonathan's like, did anybody see you? Don't get caught. Oh, no. Because from a father's standpoint, he's thinking, my son is an alien.
Right.
My biggest fear of ever is him being taken away
Mm-hmm.
Again,
for being caught.
his fear comes out as
Protect. Keep you tight.
overprotection. Yeah.
Mhm.
He has some weakness there, but also really good qualities there.
Like you get
that are
both
mixing.
sides.
Mhm.
Where Clark's like, but I feel this. And Jonathan says, but I feel this. And Martha's like, you're both right in a way.
Yeah, and she becomes a good voice of reason in it's just kind of one of those things. The mother-father dynamic is so good between the two. They have really good communication with one another, and the way they talk to each other is very respectful and great. It just couples
Even
goals,
when they
right?
don't agree. Yeah.
Mhm.
She says it's not about his gifts, it's about his judgment.
Mhm. So profound.
And then she says, you're telling Clark that you don't believe in him. And he's just like, well, he's going to make mistakes. And what if somebody finds out about him and they're going to come take him away?
And this is the first time Jonathan actually out loud says his fears.
Yeah.
And then, well, if we don't trust him, no one's going to take him away. He's just going to leave all by himself.
Mm-hmm. So now they have to figure out what's that balance.
Yeah. Beautiful family dynamic. Okay, so the scene changes and we have Clark, Chloe, and Pete walking into a coffee shop. And I love this. There's a part where
So good.
where Chloe's giving Clark crap about being on the football team. And he says, Chloe, I joined a football team, not a cult.
Oh no!
Oh, the irony of saying that
Boom.
to poor little Allison.
I'm just going to leave that right there.
It's so funny.
If you don't understand why that's funny,
Look it up.
Yeah, we see that Lana is a waitress and she's not wearing her necklace, which needs to be brought up. And it's like, oh, it's the dress code. And Clark's like, hot dog. Is anyone getting like teens drinking coffee, Gilmore Girls vibes?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Like,
Okay.
it's just not a thing because going to get like coffee is just not a thing I've ever done as a teen.
No, but
Yeah.
even more than that, it's my favorite. TV shows do this all the time. There is some unlimited amount of funds that teenagers have
Seriously.
to go
To get
out
their
to eat
smoothies
or to get their, smoothies,
At their hangout
ice
spot.
cream, wherever their hangout spot is. Somehow, have any of you been to a coffee place lately?
It's
Do
like
you-
$9 a pop.
We interrupt this premium program for this special announcement. We need you to follow us on social media. Our link is in the description.
and we're back. At this point, Mystery Inc. is on it again. They're trying to figure out
Yep.
what
They're
the heck is
sleuthing.
going on with the whole test stuff and good old-fashioned investigation.
I love it.
Yep, all the football players are chilling, all the naughty ones, and then one of them comes up and says, "Coach needs us right now," and Chloe's like, "Dun dun dun, my spidey senses are tingling."
I'm going after
I
it.
must go and be secretive.
And poor Lana drops the tray of drinks.
Yeah.
Everyone claps for her. Oof.
And you can tell she's like about to cry. It's like good acting.
Yeah.
It's so good. She's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm embarrassed."
She's like, I want to go back to cheerleading.
Now we get to experience in this next scene water being turned into fire.
It's amazing. It's great visuals.
Yeah, it's a great effect. They must have done something with gasoline in the pipes or something.
Pyrotechnics. It's so
Because
good.
it doesn't look
Just
fake.
shoot
Oh, it's not.
some fire in the air.
Man, this coach is intense. Like, he would be doing all of this even if he didn't have the kryptonite junk in him.
He'd be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
when he slaps the kid in the face and
Well,
then things
'cause
catch on fire.
He beat
Uh-huh.
them before he had
Mhm.
power.
Oh,
Right,
totally.
Right.
Yeah.
And poor little Trevor.
He speaks out a little bit like, "We're never going to get into college if we get caught for cheating." And the coach is like, "But how dare you, my
And-
200th game."
The Talon's
lie-
star investigative journalist, Chloe, takes a picture of it, which it's at night. And the lights aren't technically on, but there is fire. But she gets a pretty dang good picture. I'll
She
say
gets
that.
a dang good picture with that
Yeah.
camera from that far away.
They're
at
on the
night.
football field and the sprinklers are on and he turns them to fire.
It's so good.
Yeah. I like
Can you imagine a power like that?
Can I just pause and just say I love that Chloe just calls them all jock straps.
The whole episode.
She's just like,
And even Pete's like, "Could you not?"
could you not call him a jock strap?
Oh, and then now we get John Glover back reprising his role
We
as
got
Lionel
Lionel.
Luther.
Oh, and it's
So
so
what'd
good.
you
This
think
scene's
he's back?
amazing.
Because you didn't really get much of him in episode 1, and he wasn't in episode 2 at all.
Yeah, so now he's in episode 3, and we get to see him really interact with Lex as an adult.
Mhm.
And it is, beautiful.
Yeah,
Mhm.
John Glover's a great actor and he delivers everything very well. And I don't know, you really get to see poor Lex, man, the darkness that Lionel has been trying to instill in his son his whole life.
Like cutthroat, ruthless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I give credit to John Glover and I give credit to Michael Rosenbaum in this case. Michael Rosenbaum, you can just see there's a chemistry. There's a chemistry that Michael Rosenbaum has with every other character in the show. And so when Lionel comes in, and John Glover's an amazing actor, and so you see this chemistry immediately take off, and these guys are, the scene delivers.
Their back and forth is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, Lionel saying, "You didn't do what I said." And there was an article published in the business section. And Lex is like, "Well, you made me come to the crap factory out here in Smallville, and I'm going to run it my way."
And then you find out why Lex is always going off on like these metaphors with ancient Rome and stuff, where Lionel's immediately like, well, Caesar would send his sons off into the farthest corners of the empire.
I didn't even put that together.
So like he
yeah.
really is his father's son and
Yep.
he's trying so hard not to be.
And we get another fencing scene because they're going to like fence for business.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's high finance.
That's how they win their
Yeah.
way.
So next time you find yourself getting let go from a job, just think maybe
I
the
should fence them for
executives-
it.
No, maybe the
Fence
executives
for it?
fenced over who got let go. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there you go.
You should ask them.
And sadly, Lex is defeated like in 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And so Lionel says, "Okay, get rid of 20%. You lost. Do
Yeah.
it."
It's just too damn
And that's
bad.
that. And then now they're back in the barn.
We have Martha and
have
Clark.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she says the best.
I know.
quote
I wrote
ever.
good speech in my notes.
I know. She says, if you want to make your own decisions, you better be prepared to live with your mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that, Martha. That is how
Because
everyone
it's showing
should be
that she is kind of like letting him make a decision she disagrees with, and she's being clear that she disagrees with it, but she still loves him, and she's trying to help him learn the lesson, hopefully before it's too late.
Which is what every parent
Because she
wants to
understands,
do.
like, when you're this age, football, high school, that's your
These are
world.
Small problems.
That's what you can do. He's not thinking about anything else.
Well, yeah, as a typical teenager, this is all he can see.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get Chloe, the journalist, again. She's ruthless, man. She will stop at nothing to get the story.
She talks to Trevor like in secret, and shows him the picture that she took, and being like, "This is you. This is your coach. I saw him hit you. Did he give you the test? What's going on?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Don't, just stop it. Don't talk about it."
Yep.
And he doesn't tell her anything. He's like, "Don't. I'm not gonna tell you anything, Chloe."
Yeah. Goes back to his car, and the
freaking
does
coach, dude.
straight up abuse grab, man.
Yeah. That would be an abuse grab if he has superpowers or not, right?
Yeah.
Like-
if it was not burning his hand, giving him a second, third degree burn.
and then now he wants Chloe's blood.
She has a picture of us in the field. Poor Trevor.
Poor Trevor. Yeah, I literally wrote poor Trevor.
I know the trauma. That's why I'm tracking it, everyone. There will be a spreadsheet. Trevor will be on it. He's scarred for life.
Poor
Anybody
Trevor.
Chloe's just minding her own business.
working on her cool Mac computer.
And then everything starts on fire, and she's like, oh my gosh. And she looks out and she's like, save me, Clark, save me.
out the window.
And then she like almost saves herself. She puts that coat on.
she could have just why did she somersault over a
That's
table?
what I would have
Just
done.
run through it?
Right. Have you ever like just been in a burning building and thought,
Who hasn't? I mean,
I wonder, like, man, what a cool head she must have in order to think of that in that situation and not just panic.
she takes her coat, somersaults over a table, and Clark distracts the bad man, and the fire kind of goes out enough where she can just walk casually through it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the fire goes out without too much damage.
Well,
No
right.
structural damage.
And it's a good thing that it happens that way because Chloe would have found out Clark's secret had he just come in
walk
through the
a fire. True. Very
So
true.
again, it's Clark's not quite having to pay for consequences yet. Too
And I love
hard.
how no one's in the hallway.
Well, they're all at the pep
Well, you
rally.
realize that this coach is totally cool killing Chloe. That
Yeah.
was his goal. Is
His-
kill
yeah,
Chloe.
He was definitely
Same with the
going for the kill.
principal.
I know. It wasn't just destroy evidence. It was kill this girl.
How are there not any firefighters that are having serious arson investigations after multiple
Oh,
random
I
fires?
know.
Like,
At Smallville High,
like
too, right?
oh,
Yeah.
there was a fire that busted out and burned the coach's desk, then the coach's TV, then the
car.
principal's car,
And now the newsroom.
now the newsroom, like the school. There's a lot of fires going on, and you can't blame that on faulty wiring that much.
The police and fire department in Smallville exist for one purpose: to clean up after Clark.
Seriously.
And the metahumans.
Well, I also don't understand. He doesn't fear the board, but he fears Chloe because there was no evidence, but now there's evidence.
There really is. This is really showing like the power of the press
it's getting
type
worse,
of thing.
right?
Yeah, because that could hurt him in a way
'Cause
that the
when
board
there's
can't
evidence that
protect
you
him.
can't-
Mm-hmm.
The board can protect him for so long, but as soon as everyone out there understands,
Yeah.
that's
True.
that.
So he just needs to keep it small and just around a few people. And I wrote down that Clark, he has a hard time believing that the coach is behind it. And I think a huge part of it is because the coach is giving him everything he wants. And it's like hard to reconcile that. And so, but he does come around, hats off to him. He's like, okay, well then we need proof. And like, he's willing to go along with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good friend. He obviously has his personal interests in there, but
Speaking of good friends, good old Lex Luthor coming to...
In the coffee shop.
I mean, he clearly just wants to be a part of the town. You
Yeah.
know? Like,
Mhm.
He wants friends. He probably needs family and
Well,
friends.
he's all alone.
Yeah.
So
he's a
he
21-year-old that lives by himself in a mansion
Yeah,
in a
with
town
all
he
the
knows
money he
nobody.
could
And
ever
his
dream
fencing
of.
instructor who comes down from Metropolis once a week or
so
something.
he comes to the coffee shop and commiserates about parents with a pair of teenagers.
Yeah, he sure does. Oh, my
With
dad.
the
Oh,
bad
my
coffees
dad.
that
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. He's like, so how's that coffee? He's like, it's
Not even close.
Not even what I ordered, right?
It's
Like,
very
yeah,
it's
whatever.
very Friends. There's an episode where
Yeah.
Rachel is starting out as a waitress and she delivers everyone in the group their drinks and then she walks away and they all switch their drinks to the correct person.
Yes, I love
So
it.
good.
I'm pretty sure like these aren't even anybody else's orders either. They're
No.
just like something
They're
totally
just raw.
He
different.
literally says, "We better bring mine in a styrofoam cup," and she brings it in like a Christmas mug. Like what? She can't even bring it in the right type of cup.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
But you know, one of the things I do love about this is that Lana and Clark do help Lex.
Yeah.
Like they get him thinking, you know what, I'm not gonna just submit to my father, even though that's super hard.
Well, I think,
Even though I
and I'm
like
gonna
the
come up with
fencing.
well,
a
that's what
better
he
way.
says. He says like, "Oh, you guys are standing up to your parents, and I caved." And I think it gives him courage. Like if they can do it, I can certainly do it.
And I
Yeah.
think that's another reason that he gets drawn constantly back to these people is because he does want to be good and they influence him to be good and he realizes he makes better decisions under their influence. It's just
yeah.
it's so like wholesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Chloe has talked to Clark after the fire, and Clark goes to talk to Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
And this is heartbreaking because Trevor is literally hiding in a garage surrounded by fire extinguishers.
Yeah.
Surrounded.
Yeah.
I don't even think I caught that they were all fire extinguishers.
surrounded by
I just
fire
knew he was
extinguishers.
hiding, but oh my
Yeah, look at you gotta watch it again, just like check it out and see all
Surrounded
those-
by fire extinguishers.
It's so sad.
Hiding in a corner of his garage. It's so sad.
And again, Clark just kind of like lets himself into places. It's just so funny.
He's like, and where are their parents?
you could argue that it's a small town, and maybe that's just how you're raised in a small town. Like you don't really knock, you just
Go
walk
to people's
in.
houses.
Yeah.
That town has 40,000 people in it, please. That's a big enough town.
Coley, we live in a town
What?
of 2.5 million people.
Our town.
Yeah,
Our town.
where we live, there are 2 million people in the valley that we live.
Okay, the
where
valley is not the town.
yeah, but it's the whole. It's everything. Where does each city end and begin?
I
Right?
don't know.
If
Where the corn stops. And the corn
we live in a
begins.
very very different world.
It's true. Brett, do you have stats on how many people are in our town?
In your town, as of 2021, there are over 58,000 people that live in your town.
So that's what I'm saying. Even 40,000. Have you met that many?
Okay,
Would you
if
wanna walk
our
into their
town
house?
Was surrounded by nothing,
I
and
still
your
would
high
knock.
school
I
had.
don't care what's around the town. I still knock.
I guarantee Smallville's graduating class is like maybe 80.
Okay, mine was 400.
Mine was 800.
Ew.
Yeah.
Same.
It's also not TV.
Also, we have
And
high
they have a
schools
time
here
limit.
that cover multiple towns. So
I know. I love when we tell people we're from Utah and they're like, "Oh, a small town." And we're like,
No. We had the Olympics here in 2002. We're big.
when we were in Scotland, we were like, "Where's a good place to eat?" And the store owner was like, "Oh, where are you guys from?" We're like, "Utah." And he's like, "You guys probably haven't had curry ever, right?" And I was like, "Ha, there's like 5 curry places just in a 10-minute radius."
right.
We've got it all.
Now they were trying to tell us all of the culinary delicacies that we wouldn't
Haggis.
have.
Yeah.
No, just that
Which-
they have
just normal
like
stuff?
international.
Oh, okay.
They have international foods that we
Yeah.
wouldn't.
But we're
get.
from Utah and only cows and grass are here.
Oh,
I mean, I would just eat cows.
you
Yeah,
would,
Yeah.
Daniel.
And grass.
Grass, I draw the line with. I'm okay with my food being plant based in that it only eats plants.
You and Ron Swanson.
Yeah, he is.
Ron Swanson's my hero.
Why are you giving me my food for my
Food
hand?
that my
This is my
food
food's
eats.
food.
My food's food. So after he talks to Trevor, he gets proof because Trevor tells him he's punched me before. I mean, Clark is like, "We're done. I'm done." And Coach is just chilling in his sauna, as one does.
As one does when that's all you do.
Pre-game.
It's his pregame.
It's pre-game. He's pre-gaming, alone in a hot sauna. And Clark
I need to up my pregame.
boldly knocks on the door and is like, "Hey, Coach, I'm not playing for you. You're naughty." No, he didn't say that.
And he said, "Let me beat you up and lock you in my sauna."
Luckily, Nicole didn't write these scripts.
I
You're
didn't
a
because
bad
there wouldn't be a
dad
football
man.
episode at all. There'd be like some evil crafting person who crafts evil or something.
Murders with a
Knitting needle.
crochet
Yeah,
stick.
there you go.
And then poor Clark gets shoved into a tiny room that's super hot, full of poison rocks.
Yeah, so he's hot inside and out.
Yeah.
And not
Not in the fun
looks.
way.
Not in the fun
Not
way.
It
the
would
back
be
dimples
so
way.
hot in there. Because how long can you guys last in a sauna?
Me about 2-3 hours.
Oh,
You know what?
please.
I was
Brett
like
is
5
full of
minutes.
crap.
He lasts in our hot tub for like 20.
Minutes.
Hours.
Yeah, minutes.
Yeah, it's hot. Your body's like, I'm done.
If you kind of think about the amount of time that must pass between this
Because
moment
well,
and
Pete
when
later says, I haven't seen him all day.
right, he's probably in there for like an hour or two
at
or
least.
more, stuck in this thing.
Because the game's already started and he wasn't even in, he was just pre-gaming. He wasn't even getting his uniform yet.
Yes, Clark doesn't become totally vulnerable under the green kryptonite. It's just he does still have some of those.
Well, it can't feel good.
But
He's just very
still,
weak.
He's
Yes.
so weak he can't stand up.
I know it's awful. This is a good trauma tracker being closed
going
into
to
a
put it
small
in.
room for
Being
hours.
enclosed for hours.
My
With
biggest
Whilst kryptonite
Oh.
is
green gas.
And okay, so
And green
Lana's
gravy.
tiny little gem, this big, tiny. He's like, "Ugh, this is like a bunch of rocks.
I don't know if the effect compounds.
You don't think?
I don't know.
I do.
That's getting real nerdy. I don't see why the effect would compound unless
Do you
it
think
was
if you
massive.
took a bath in some mercury, or if like a thimble touched your toe, it'd make a difference?
Yeah, but he
Okay.
gets equally weak from like a tiny thing and this.
Not equally
Okay.
weak. He's laying on the ground. He
So-
can't even move. But with Lana,
Yeah,
he's
I think
I'm
standing.
with
And
Nicole on this because depending on how far away he is from the necklace, right?
That's true. He
That's
just
like-
kind of is like
Yeah, it's
weird.
like if I hold it close to my hand, just the hand is going crazy. It wasn't like his whole face was.
well, I
So
said
if it's
corrected.
bigger, you probably have just more of your body that's close to it.
I guess so. Sorry for getting so nerdy that we should measure the cubic weight or whatever of all the kryptonite and see how much it affects him.
No,
I
I think we
bet
should
someone's
all
done that.
wear kryptonite necklaces.
we'll make them.
Just
We'll
in
do
case
matching
Superman's
kryptonite
real and you never
Make
want
them
to
out
be
of like
saved.
resin or something. We'll just we'll have Lana necklaces.
You can buy them. I saw them on
Oh,
Amazon.
really?
Kim's already been shopping.
Yeah.
Oh,
Love it.
for merch.
Well, she's always shopping, but now she's shopping. for
Smallville.
merch.
Smallville shopping.
We're just by season 7, we're all decked out in paraphernalia.
I'm gonna wear a full crow mascot. Did you guys see that mascot earlier?
That mascot
That
was something
crow was
special.
intense.
Don't worry, that mascot comes back.
So he cooks in this sauna forever.
A long time. Can't even sit up.
He's trying
It's
to
like you just did
hurl
ab
rocks.
day.
And
Trying
then
to hit a small
Chloe
window.
is at the game because she's like, I hate football, but I will support Clark.
Chloe's basically Nicole. But Nicole, I don't think would go
Exactly.
to the game.
But Chloe isn't crocheting.
That's true.
Chloe's,
She's-
Chloe's in prison, everybody.
No,
I mean,
Allison.
Allison Matt. Oh, you're saying I'm like Chloe?
Yeah, because you're going to support.
I do.
You came to Super Bowl to support
True.
us
Right.
and our
True.
brisket.
I mean, I was into the brisket. I was good with that.
But then the parents show up and they're like, "Where's Clark?" And she's like, "I don't know. I haven't seen him all day."
I thought he was
And
with
she
you guys.
still has green eyeshadow.
I
and
know
she
she does.
still has green eyeshadow.
So then, like, Jonathan confronts the coach, and it's like
Where's Clark? What's going on?
the coach is like, gotta be panicked. You can kind of see it in his eyes. He's like, oh, I hope he doesn't find out. I hope he doesn't find out.
Hope
And,
he doesn't
like,
look in the sauna.
Doesn't look at my personal sauna.
Now Chloe's like, let me tell
in
you
the
some
school.
stuff. She's gonna like give.
yeah, hats off to Chloe for going to an adult for help.
Yeah,
Oh.
seriously.
Yeah.
I don't think you understand how novel that is in this series.
Yes.
Mhm.
Let me loop in an adult. That happens once a season.
I know, right?
So everybody enjoy this moment.
And then Clark, good job throwing the rocks at the little
Oh,
tiny
he's going
window in the
unconscious.
sauna.
Oh no, he's just
And
so
that's
hot
like-
in there.
That's like all he has left is to throw that last
Getting
rock.
hot in here.
And I love that like Jonathan saves the day.
I
Because it
know.
could have been Pete, it could have been Principal Quan. You don't know.
It would have been suspicious for anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you dying in here? I'm like,
I'd be
other
like,
than-
I've been in a hot sauna for 6 hours. Of course I'm
I
dying.
I
guess
got
that's
locked
true.
in here, and I've been basically drowning in the steam.
And now
Mhm.
finally Clark tells his dad about the meteor rocks.
I like
Yeah.
that the sauna door is lead lined. That's nice. And how
Well,
that's not the coach. The coach is ready for battle. Clark is like, Coach, you're got a problem.
The way the coach lands on that first throw is pretty awful. Like
On
that
his
would
back?
really hurt.
Oh my gosh, especially for his age.
And then Clark's like, "Oh, little fire. I'd learned in the last episode that I'm incineration proof."
and his clothes learned that too.
That's true. He does walk through with his.
Oh, they're a little dusty.
Might have a new counter for you.
He does have to take
How
off
many
his jacket.
fight scenes happen in this locker room?
Total will keep track, huh?
Yeah, keep track
A
of
lot.
that bad boy.
And the coach, like in our previous,
He incinerates himself.
because Clark can't do it. Like, what would Clark do? He's not gonna just, you're done.
Go
He'd
to
be
jail.
like, so therapy, let's do that.
Stop lighting things
Right.
on fire, and
You
I'll
need to
take
control
you
your
to the police.
temper.
Let's control your fire.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to see Lionel Luthor again, and he's pissed.
Yeah.
But I
'cause
love it because Lex outsmarts him.
Lex did the right thing. Yeah.
And Lex also realizes, you're more mad that I figured this out before you did.
Mhm.
You know?
He also did learn a true lesson that his father was trying to teach him. That you went emotional at it because you didn't want to fire these people. So Lex was doing an emotional thing and letting his emotions run this business. Then when he had to think about it and just go logically, he came up with a better solution.
Mm-hmm.
So he took the emotion out of it and said, hey, I can beat you.
He took the emotion out, but not the morality.
No, exactly.
Good Lex here. Very, very much good Lex. Lionel getting put in his place for
Well, he says to
very
his,
few
he
times.
says, Dad, you have no idea what I'm capable of.
Mhm.
And that's like such a villain line.
It's true.
But he's saying it like a hero.
Yeah.
Like, Dad, I'm capable.
like,
you know?
Dad, just believe in me. Like, I can do more than you think I can.
Yeah.
Lionel is like, you can fool me once, and that's it. You know?
I'd be like, you just wait and see.
Ooh,
Daddy-o.
boy. I guess we'll see if he's able to do it multiple times, right? And then finally, we get the makeup between Jonathan
Father
and Clark.
son.
Fan freaking test.
So we go from father and son to father and son.
Yeah, with
Aww.
one bad dynamic to another one, where
That's, like,
the son had to win,
kind.
and in this case, the father was right,
Mhm.
and the son realizes that the father was right. It's very, very interesting dynamic.
Again, that thread, the different parenting, the different situation, and
Mhm.
how they both progress and what they can both
Mhm.
become.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really a good thing that your parents don't necessarily define 100% of you, but they sure can push you into a direction.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Clark's totally chill and cool that the coach is dead. No side effects, not even phased. It's only been 15, 20 minutes. He's still a little steamy, sticky, on the field chilling. Lana shows up and is like, sorry I missed your game. And he's like, don't worry, I was trapped in a sauna. Coach is dead. How you doing?
Also, let me flirt with you for a minute.
Yeah.
And Lana says, oh yeah, I got fired.
And
which is
then-
rough.
Which is rough. So both of them were cool, and then they decided to have a Breakfast Club moment.
Yeah, and they
Walk
Is
did
out
that
on the
Breakfast
screen.
Club? I've never seen it.
It's funny to me because good thing
Close
he
enough.
doesn't have his super lungs and super breath yet, because her ears will be bleeding.
Died. Oh my gosh.
If he was
think this
asleep, he coulda
last
done
scream
it.
is cute.
They both-
It's cute. So they decide, like, sometimes you just want to scream.
Yeah.
And they decide, let's scream. Let's
Yeah.
do it. I don't get it. I've never wanted to scream publicly in a field with a boy that it's not my boyfriend. But
You haven't?
have you?
Yes, we should do it. I think we will
won't.
connect soul to
I
soul.
think I'm
if we
too
try.
restrained.
Girl, you need to scream.
I won't.
It won't.
It won't
I won't do
happen.
it.
If we went out into a field, no one around, you would not scream.
No, but I fear the neighbors.
Would you scream like this?
If I wouldn't, that's not a scream though.
That's like
That's a Bubba whimper. I don't know what I'd call it.
I would scream like a psycho.
Uh-huh.
So what you're saying is we need to go camping and,
Oh, no.
and do that in a campground.
Let the psycho screams out.
No, because I'm the fellow campers.
No, where I camp, nobody's there.
Oh, not anymore.
That's because of the smell. Kim goes out to nature and her body has a weird reaction.
So we just finished our episode 3, our rewatch.
Is it super or man, Brett?
This one was tough. When I sat down and watched it originally, I actually had this as a man. But I actually have changed this, and it's super, but not because of Superman. I think some of the other characters really shine through in this episode, which make it super. The parents are a big part of that. The Lex dynamic, Lex and Lionel, they really bring it. And so you get a lot more in this episode. And if it were just based on Clark's experience, this would be a man episode. But there's not a whole lot. I don't think this episode is a lot there.
We got to have more moments with the other characters, and they are great characters. You're starting to actually build a relationship with the characters, which is so important because Clark shouldn't be the only thing that's great about this show. We need to know that everyone is not just one-dimensional or two-dimensional. They're complex. So I agree
A good ensemble.
because we've gotten the ensemble turning into more complex people that feel more real. We get super, in my opinion, too.
I still think it's a man episode because, like, if it didn't exist, we'd still have Smallville.
Yeah,
It doesn't.
100%.
I love like the Lex stuff, but you get Lex stuff all the time of him being like so cool, and
We also have to remember, though, that like we're comparing this to its current self. If I compare this to like any episode in season 10, it's heckin' man. But
Heckin' Man.
yeah.
Is it like the vending machine man?
Yes, with the awkward,
the awkward vending machine man.
That's the kind of man this episode
This is a
is.
super episode just for him.
What about you, Kim?
I think I would agree with the guys only because I don't have anything else to compare it to.
True.
And so I think
do.
it is a super episode for the other characters for sure.
Yeah.
As far as music, just for fun, in this episode, we had some other great music. We had Clint Eastwood by the Gorillaz.
That took me back.
Okay, we had Motivation by Sum 41.
Oh, I loved that one.
Never Let You Go by Third Eye Blind.
Oh, so good.
And You by Kevin Rudolph.
These ones weren't as iconic for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone knows, music's not my thing.
I didn't know
I don't
that.
have playlists. I don't listen. When I'm driving, there's not music playing in my car. A podcast, yes.
A
But
book?
most of the time, nothing.
Okay.
I drive in silence, like a psychopath.
Which is real. No, that's really healthy.
Like, I
She's
don't-
killed 17 people.
By listening to nothing.
With
like
her
Daniels
eyes.
will say, like, listen to the song, and I'm just like, I don't understand. He's like, do you hear that thing? And I'm like, no. What? He's like, that beat underneath, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, it's not. There's nothing
So
there.
music is not your
It's just
thing.
not my thing. But like some of these songs are just like so iconic, but
Mm-hmm.
not this one. When this one didn't like hit.
This,
I think the Gorillaz one was the only one we were all like, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Gorillaz
some
was
of
good.
those
I'm a
love that.
huge fan of Third Eye Blind, so
Oh,
that
me
one
too.
I just like that music in general, so that was good for me.
Yeah.
Thank you for remembering Smallville with us. Join us next week when
Lex signs his name.
Kim feels betrayed.
And Lana gives up.
see you then. Thanks for listening. Please like, comment, and subscribe because the algorithm says that you have to.